Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. And today I thought I just wanted to talk about AI tokens, the narrative behind which coins I think will do well, if they will do well, and when I think they'll start seeing their all-time highs and stuff like that. So the other day we had the news on Nvidia. Well, we had the news on DeepSeek, which ultimately crashed the price of the largest stock in the world, Nvidia, by 20%. I'll just get that chart up right now. It's bounced back a little bit over the last few days, but it's still relatively down. Let me get it up. Yeah, so the last 5 days. Okay, I've got to go last month. Yeah, so it's still down around 6 or 7% in the last month, and that's had a ripple effect in the whole stock market and everything like that. So I thought it got me thinking actually, like, will AI continue to kind of lead the way? Is it a bubble? Will it kind of translate to crypto tokens relating to AI doing well this cycle? So I was looking at some charts, and some of the tokens I do hold, by the way, that did quite well, particularly early on last year. So for example, we had Near Protocol have quite a big run up, peaking around March time, but it still hasn't reached that same level at the latter part of this year, even though Bitcoin has blasted through all-time highs and stuff like that. I was thinking, okay, it's just a one-off. Similarly, I looked at the render chart as well, and the exact same thing happened here, where we had a big run-up in March, when that's when the narrative behind AI was pretty damn hot. Cooled down obviously with sideways consolidation for Bitcoin, and came back up, but still didn't return to that previous all-time high level. So kind of got me questioning actually, like whether it's one of those things where it's kind of peaked early, people are realising that AI is a bubble and kind of moving to other things, or if it's something that's kind of cooled off for a bit before it has another leg up in the bull run. Now personally, I do think, because China has released that new application for a fraction of the cost, it does make me think that although it's bad short term for stock market gains, the fact that they can make something so cheap, run so efficiently, it makes me think that the sky's the limit of the next few years, and the rate in which these things are going to develop is only going to get quicker and quicker and quicker, and the things that will be able to perform reactions are only going to get a lot better. So I still feel like in space as a whole, it's going to succeed. And you've got to think, these tokens, these crypto tokens, anyone across the whole entire world can buy them, unless your country bans buying crypto. But it's not like it's a US company like Nvidia or something like that. These tokens can be bought in any country across the world. They have their own utility, and that's the thing. Like, so I personally think this is a little bit of a shakeout. The narrative is just going to get more bullish, and when Bitcoin does print a new all-time high, which at the moment it's been going sideways for the last 2 months, which is healthy by the way, because it's had a massive leg up in November, so it's only healthy. That this is in pounds. All my American viewers, I mainly use dollars as well, but this is my native currency. A massive leg up, market followed similar suit, and you notice lots of these dinosaur tokens. I call them dinosaur tokens because they've been around for years. So you've got your Cardanos, you've got your XRPs, your Polkadots, coins like that have been around in a previous market, survived the depths of the bear market, and then come back. Some of these coins even 2 or 3 times, like XRP and Cardano for example. So if I show you this chart in relation to the other 2 ones I just showed you for the AI tokens, if it wants to load, hopefully sometime today. Come on, here we go. Change that to yearly as well. See, so we had a run up in March last year, just like the graph I showed you for the AI tokens. Came down, natural consolidation, but then when Bitcoin did well this time around, it significantly outperformed. This is very similar to like coins like XRP as well. If I pull up an XRP chart, I mean, I know that's kind of exception case actually, because recently we've had a court case, so I might not bother getting that chart up, but all these coins that have been around before are starting to break through again, and I feel like the market's just waiting for Ethereum to do something to then therefore confirm the hypothesis that altcoin season is still on. Because at the moment you've got these ideas kind of floating around. Like obviously lots of countries are thinking of buying a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and it's all this emphasis on Bitcoin, but some people kind of believe, well, what about these other tokens? So a lot of the time we believe that money flows through Bitcoin, then into Ethereum, then it kind of goes into high capital coins, and it kind of goes all the way down until you get meme coins, NFT projects getting all the money. So everyone's kind of waiting on that to get the top 10 market cap chart up. Ethereum, it typically has a good January. Right now we're right at the end of January, so unless there's some crazy move in the next 24 hours, which it won't, it's going to be actually down this month ever so slightly, and I wouldn't be too worried about that because all the big money is flowing into the asset. Even though the gas fees are too high, it's got the benefit that it's been around for so long that it's kind of just in number 2 by default, and these tokens would have to do a significant proportion on their gains to even catch up to its market cap. Well, to be fair, actually, XRP would have to do like a 2.5x. But on a weekly, well, actually, I'll look on the daily. Like, it's not much of a difference. It might be invalidated shortly, but Bitcoin's down, Ethereum's up, and you might notice. I think I just clicked on something. Some of these other altcoins are starting to actually. Yeah, some are up on the daily, but the whole altcoin market is kind of on the fence, waiting for Ethereum to do its next big move. And once it does, essentially, that confirms the hypothesis that altcoin season is on. So you'll see a lot of money flow into XRP, Solana, Binance token, your Cardanos, and that's when the next leg is truly on. But if you want some information that kind of makes you feel rest assured, Donald Trump, his organisation has bought millions and millions of dollars of it over the past few weeks. He wouldn't be doing that if he's the president of the largest economy in the world, and he's this businessman who's worth multiple billions. He wouldn't be buying something if he didn't know it was going to do well. So I personally feel like the price has been suppressed probably for like the last few years actually, and it's literally on the cusp of a giant leg up. So that kind of fills me with confidence. If he's buying in a lot now, that kind of anticipates probably sometime later in quarter one a large gain in this asset, and then it'll trickle through to the other tokens. But just going back to my original point, I want to talk about these AI tokens. So I personally think that they will make a comeback and they will hit new all-time highs at a crazy rate once money flows into Bitcoin. Once the whole world kind of calms down about the news of the Chinese competitor, I do think it's going to hit, we're all going to hit all-time highs, and they will have their time. Like just like tokens like Solana had a large pump, literally went sideways for 11 months. I was even saying the other day to my friend, it's done nothing but last year, then went on a crazy run when Donald Trump token came out. So I feel like it's on the sidelines, waiting for the sentiment to shift. All these tokens and all these narratives have their turn, and I do feel like it's right around the corner. So I do feel like there's money to be made, and I feel like this will actually be the AI crypto bull run, and that will be the narrative that's floated around. So in terms of price target, it's literally impossible to say. But one thing I do want to have a look at is its market cap is like over 5 billion. It's number 27. So lots of these tokens are kind of up there, top 50. They're not your top 10s, but they're kind of up there. They've got room to grow. So like, let's think about Bitcoin, for example. It's got over a $2 trillion market cap. Coins like this have got this has got 5 billion, but lots of coins have got like between 1 and 10 billion market cap. There's easy. If these tokens provide something, and if they're in the landscape and providing updates, it's very possible these tokens can 10, 15, 20, 25, 30x, maybe even more on a couple of them. Bitcoin, however, at best, some people, you've seen all these targets floating around. I think it's going to hit, best case scenario, over 200k, but I do feel like it's probably going to be somewhere between 150 to 180. And that's another thing as well. If Bitcoin does significantly better than anticipations this cycle, expect altcoins to do even better. So we kind of need Bitcoin in a way. Altcoin season is separate to Bitcoin, but we kind of need the money from Bitcoin to flow into altcoins in the first place. So if Bitcoin hits, I don't know, $160,000, I reckon a lot of these coins could maybe do a 3 or 4x. However, if Bitcoin hits like $200,000, maybe you could be looking at a 10 to 15x from here. And if you bought in November, that's an even crazy proportion. So it does kind of depend on where Bitcoin is. I'm being extremely conservative this bull run. I'm going to anticipate 150k Bitcoin. The next leg up is soon, I fear, but I want to be getting out of this market as soon as possible before things heat up, because when you look back in the charts, you'll realise all these epic moves are only over a span of a couple of weeks, and most of the time, months and months and months of the year, we're in consolidation or downward trend. Just look at the move we had in November, 7 months of nothing, invalidated by 4 weeks of upswing from the bottom 31 cents to $1.29 at its top. That's around 400% return in 28 days. It's cooled off. This is AJ I'm talking about, by the way. Let's pull up that chart. Cooled off, kind of been ranging like up, down, up, down, up, down. It's waiting for the next move up. It's waiting for Bitcoin. It's waiting for sentiment to change. Interest rate cuts, all these other external factors. And I do believe that when Bitcoin has its next move, it's ready for its next leg up to the $3 mark, and I reckon it's going to be sometime in Q1. But if you go even further back to 2021, I got into the market after it had already gone up to $1. So I bought in when it was already up 50x, which looking back was quite ballsy. Rendered another 3x, I didn't sell. I then kind of learned, okay, well, I've missed it this time around. Like, it's when you get to here you realise actually the peak's already been. But it's impossible to realise that until the data's already been. You can use data to kind of help guide you and stuff like that and have like different theories, but it's impossible to know. So people are saying they reckon the top will be what, November time, end of the year. I personally, if I can be out by June, or this isn't financial advice, this is just my opinion, if you can be out earlier and lock in some profits, it's better. Because ultimately these things happen quick. In 2021, went from what, 10 cents? Damn, 10 cents in November of 2020. By the time it was May, went up all the way up to $2 at its top. So if you would have bought in, that's a 20x in 6 months, which is actually insane. Cooled off, dropped 50%. I then had another 3x in the final leg with a bought one. I want to be getting out somewhere here, but for the equivalent of this time around, which I do believe would be between the $3 and $4 mark. And relating to altcoins, it's hard to tell if it's not got past cycle data. Lots of these do, for example. You're going to be kind of getting out, like, you know, it's the blow off top is always towards the end of the year, or even the start of the following year sometimes. So we'll be getting out one of these peaks. I'm not waiting. And it looks obvious, that's the thing. Anyone looking back, it looks so obvious, like, oh, why didn't you just sell there? But you got to think, at that time, you're only working with the data you've got. And if you knew into the market as well, like at the time I was only in a couple of months, balancing other stuff on the sidelines, so I didn't really completely understand it. And I kind of get why most people think it's a scam, because it goes up and down, and it's natural to think that. But we take the time to understand it, understand how the macroeconomic world has an impact on it, all this legislation, and the market maker. You do realise it is kind of manipulated in some way, but you can kind of use that to your advantage if you kind of figure out the patterns in which it's manipulated by the people who are higher up all the organisations. And rather than kind of getting scared, kind of think, okay, well, if 75 to 80% of people lose money in the market, why is that? Kind of dissect that, think differently, and try and adopt a different mindset shift. A lot of it is psychology at the end of the day, and your knowledge in the financial world. Finance isn't taught in schools, and I believe it should be, ultimately, because it's such an important skill to have. But it means that it's hard for people to have a grasp of economics or anything like that, finance. So when you're unsure about something, paired with the emotions that naturally run, it's natural for people to feel like it's a scam or get out of the market or sell at a loss. It's just human nature, really. But yeah, it's kind of combining all that stuff with actual data and utilities for the tokens and macroeconomic settings. So I'll talk about Jerome Powell, his interest rate cuts, how it has a ripple effect across the world, US legislation, Bitcoin strategic reserves, global empty money supply increasing. I'm talking about all these other factors, obviously updates themselves for these tokens. I'm talking about the narrative in the stock market, which at the moment is AI. So it's these kind of things you want to be switched on about, looking at what's in the news, kind of have like a natural in tune to kind of know the vibe of which way the wind is going, shall we say, so to speak. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a video today just briefly talking about it. I've covered the AI tokens a bit, but I've kind of had like a market overview and why I feel like it will go up. And I might have rambled a bit, but I feel like everything I've said is relevant to these coins as well. A Bitcoin performing world, a macroeconomic setting, the US government, altcoin season, Ethereum purchases, because the money flows into these tokens. It's all relevant information. So there's stuff to take on board. And you've got to think as well, like, you're not going to get it on day one. It's going to take weeks, months, even years of learning in this market to become a different person. These skills aren't learned overnight. And that's okay. Like, everyone's got to start somewhere. But as long as you've got that mindset and knowing, okay, you want to devote the time to understanding and you believe in what you're investing in, I believe you can make it. And that's my personal opinion. So thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. I much appreciate it. I'm really trying my hardest to get the channel noticed and monetized this year. I much appreciate any engagement where it's possible, because it ultimately means so much to me and can help this channel grow and prosper. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.